Hello again, YouTube! This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited, the object editor commentaries. Yes, this game is called Scribblenauts Unlimited. This object editor is a feature just on the Wii U and PC versions of this game. This is basically a series where I create your favorite characters that you vote on. Whatever is most popular and most requested each week by the most amount of different viewers will get made. And so I'm creating them here in Scribblenauts, and we've got the Five Nights at Freddy's sister location custom night animatronics. And of course, a lot of these are kind of recolors or at least something similar, just very similar in design to characters that already existed in the game, which is the case kind of like with Electrobab and Bab, Lolbit, FUNTIME, FOXY, and of course, so we do have my FUNTIME FOXY head from my past creation. That would be episode 175 and also 193, I guess you could say. I've done all the kind of base sister location characters, the main ones, in past episodes that you can see on the channel, is what I'm trying to say. And so, of course, as I mentioned, going off of that FUNTIME FOXY head, we can really create Lolbit's head here pretty well with that kind of base design. Of course, you notice that I took out the main part of the eyes and just painted that black, so it was a bubble that's in there, and now that's all painted black. And then we got rid of the little ball that was in between, the P, which is PEA, of course, and that's for the little white dot there that's in the eyes of Lolbit. And of course, colored everything accordingly to how it needs to go, the cheeks, all that kind of different stuff. There's orange in there now, and that purpley color. And so yes, you could give Lolbit a body if you want to, but since it is sort of represented by the head in Sister Location's custom night, I don't need to show recoloring the body of FUNTIME FOXY or anything, but you can use my FUNTIME FOXY's body is what I'm implying, I guess, if you want to give it a body. And so we've got the Bab head there, just to show that Electrobab, I mean, we can mainly just change the eye color there, so now the irises are yellow, and I did get rid of kind of those little, I guess, eyelids and things like that we had on our original Bab. I think that'll be another good way to distinguish the two. And so Bab I did make in a speed create, but then explained how to do it in episode 193 on this channel, so definitely check that out. And we also in episode 175 showed off how to make, at the time I was calling it the Bonnie puppet because the game wasn't out, but of course now that the game has been out all this time, it's Bon, of course, and so we can kind of recolor that and make Bonnet right here. Exciting stuff. So mainly just a pink over coloring, and then of course different eye color. And so just to show you that the stamp limit of course was reached, as you saw in the episode where we originally created Bon 175. Well, here when I just removed the nose to put on a new nose, we actually just typed in worm and took the middle body piece for the new nose for Bonnet. That gave the little prompt again for this game's stamp limit being reached. So of course, while it is called Scribblenauts Unlimited, you would think, hey, it's unlimited, but it's actually not. It does have a limit to how many stamp pieces you can use for anything. So we'll finally get on to building rather than recoloring most of them. So this is just building from the ground up, starting with a mecha as the source object. And so each little piece that we're going to use basically to create this next character is a stamp. So any piece that you use to make an object overall in this game is a stamp piece, and you do have a limit is what I was trying to say. And so with the mecha as the source object, we're now going to be creating Yenndo. So after removing the head from that mecha, you can see I kind of gave it this spider-webby pattern for most of the torso body parts of the mecha. But then I'm going to type in a spring-heeled jack. Looks like it's not a dash, actually. Spring-heeled is one word. And so then I'm going to take the torso of that, and it kind of is just this like skeletal midsection to neck, all of that. And so then we'll go over that as well with that spiderweb net-looking pattern, and the neck will give kind of a zebra pattern right here. This is going to represent all the wiring and all the endoskeleton-ness that makes Yenndo. And a silver sword can go in the middle. You can kind of see a separate section. It's really down near Yenddo's midsection, and the wires all kind of go out in this like starburst sort of pattern and stuff, and so that's why I chose the silver sword. A hemisphere shape, you can actually just type in hemisphere if you're in Scribblenauts Unmasked, but in Scribblenauts Unlimited here, there is a geometry library that's 3 pages down there, kind of near the bottom. You see that green hemisphere? Well, we could just use that in Scribblenauts Unlimited and grab it from there. Paint it black. Those will go down on the lower body. Then you notice that I just took circle shapes. You could use any of those, but basically just to create that speaker right there in the middle. That's what we've done for those circles. Painted black, but not all the way black, not like the complete pitch black night, but close to it. And so then muscle, I've got a muscle right here for basically where the, I guess you could say his muscles would be or whatever, but it's like the bicep area for Yenndo here coming together. Of course, notice the crackly pattern on those as well. And we'll go ahead with a sticky hand here to be the hands on Yenndo. This is going to look pretty good once we get everything everything, just the proportions are going to be one of the main, I guess, difficulties here, because we started off with the mecha, but it kind of comes with its own properties, like those shoulder shapes are very strange looking and they're big, and so we definitely want the muscle to cover that up for Yenndo's biceps, but with that, we don't want the biceps then to be just huge, so I have to increase and decrease the shoulder sizes as needed. And so after we put the sticky hands on, you can see that we went to the 29-page library. It's basically just a collection of 29 pages of shapes, body parts, all sorts of things, and on the 22nd page, second row from the bottom in the middle, there's this arm shape that we're going to use for above the wrists, and then just below the biceps, there's these pieces that go across right there, and I'll paint the feet now all kind of that pitch black color, and that's going to look good for a start, but of course the feet don't look exactly like that, although they're usually kind of in the shadows. We don't see too much of them in the custom night. I will go ahead and put the golem shoulder piece down for kind of the bulk of the lower half of Yenndo's legs, so I think that that's okay. Of course, the golem shoulder pieces also have that spider web pattern to them, and you might have noticed, but I'll just vocally mention it, that we did also take the same muscle shape that we have for the biceps there, those upper arm pieces, we did those for the upper legs or the thighs, kind of that thigh area there for Yenndo. And so now typing in, it's actually not fish sticks, it's a fish stick, and so the fish stick we're actually going to do twice on both sides of the neck, put it behind the body of that spring-heeled jack that we placed there for the torso, and that should do it for those neck pieces. And so here's the properties editor for any creation that you do. You can of course edit the health and just various things like the source audio of it and how much it weighs, all sorts of behind the scenes stuff. So this is where I like to read background information and fun facts about whatever we're creating. So let's go with Custom Night, which is of course an extra night in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. It was released December 1st, 2016. It can be unlocked only after finishing the game and unlocking all 3 stars in the menu. And as I might have mentioned at the beginning already, of course, this includes new animatronics, new characters, but several of them are just kind of recolors with a different name and function, like Electrobab and Bidybab, or some others are at least very similar in design to characters that already exist, such as Lolbit and FUNTIME FOXY. No characters in this episode were forgotten. I just want to say, if you see something that's not included that you're questioning, please look at the channel here to see that I have made it in past episodes, like the mini Renas, FUNTIME Freddy with Bonbon and FUNTIME FOXY, Ballora, Bidybab, Baby, Exotic Butters.
Exotic Butters.
And all sorts of characters, because this episode is all about the new animatronics from the custom night. Just clarifying that again, thanks. And so we started off with the head as the source object, gave it that strange pattern that you see on screen here, but we also used the fish stick again, and that'll be for a connector piece from the head to the ear. So this is gonna look good. We'll do it twice, of course, one on each side, and that's gonna be pretty good right there. So just a few more adjustments, and then we'll go with a target. And so the target actually is it's interesting how close, I guess, of color and shape it is to the actual Yenndo ears. So it's a way that we can kind of convey a lot of those ears with just one simple stamp. So I guess thinking smart. I would like to at least think that is. Okay. Screw, that's what we've just typed in after that, and we're going to move the screw all the way up here to the top. That's kind of course, where the top hat could go or whatever, and you see, we noticed, of course, with the FUNTIME Freddy animations, for instance, in this game, the hat can actually go up and down. So that's kind of a cool mechanic in sister location that was also done with Yenndo right here, to have just the screw instead of an actual top hat on there. Bubble, that's what we've used for the main part of the eye right here, of course, paint it white. And then I'm going to go with a tube top. You could probably use several other things like 29-page library arm shapes as well, but the tube top will give a zebra color pattern right here. And then I'm going to go with this. It's the trapezoid shape, and so of course it starts out as green, so we'll paint that black right there. It's going to be used for the nose here on Yenndo, so just kind of in between that tube top and the eyes and all that, all stuck in the middle of those. We've got it here. Looks good. So of course, if you are in Scribblenauts Unmasked, as I mentioned before with the other shapes from the geometry library, you're going to need to just type them in. So type in trapezoid. So here for the jaw, of course, we just typed in jaw. You don't always type in what's super obvious, but sometimes you do. And so here to finish that out, we've got an eyebrow. That'll be like the jaw in the back right there. And I'm trying to see which position it would be better in. I think think we'll flip it like this. And so then for the other sets of teeth, you know, we do need teeth on the top. We're gonna go with dentures, and so we'll actually have the dentures kind of be covered on the bottom, but of course that top row of teeth is gonna be showing there underneath the tube top, as you can see. I'm gonna type in glow stick, and we'll use the glow stick as sort of this plating or paneling that is above both sets of teeth. So of course one there on the tube top and one there on the jaw, facing, I guess by layers, it would be in front or above them. So then I'm just typing in ball right here. That's gonna be for the iris, and so we'll paint that this yellowy color and place those, position those. Here we go. Okay, and so next up we'll use a P, once again PEA, and that's gonna be for the pupil here in the eyes. And I like that the P has a little sort of white shine to it, so if you don't have enough stamps, sometimes you can still get that kind of shiny glimmer in characters' eyes if you use the P. And so a dartfish, we took the top fin of the dartfish to be the eyebrows right here on Yenndo. So just to kind of finish off the head, it looks like it's mostly come together, except for we're gonna use a dot on both sides of the tube top there. Those will be for those black cheeks. And so if you do create a head and a body separately in this game, you're gonna want to, on the head object, go into the properties editor, and under the equipment tab on the left side, you wanna check off the circle that says can be worn on the face like glasses. It's kind of the third one down from the top, there on the bottom half of your screen. And so you can see here that we're gonna give this head piece to the body object, and it looks sort of wonky. It's not exactly positioned right, and that's gonna happen most of the time. The reason is, you can see actually now I'm gonna go ahead and edit our Yenndo body to kind of get it all straightened out. You have these green grids that you can turn on and off by pressing that icon in the top right. There on the left side of the screen, you have this panel of buttons you can use. One of them has Maxwell's head and bananas and a wheel, dotted lines around that. When you click that, the green grids show up, and the green grids basically just show where all the pieces are of your creation that can move or you can attach to, that are for different parts of it. And so the head one, of course, we just needed to move it kind of higher up, because the Yenndo, when we first put the head on just a second ago, you probably noticed the head looked way down too low, like it was like shoulder shrugging or something, or like it had no neck. And so it looks like we fixed that mostly. So again, if you wanted a body for your Lolbit, there was my FUNTIME FOXY body design, but we just recolored that. Otherwise, you can kind of make the Lolbit head floating if you want to, like I've done here. You can either attach an adjective to it, which is floating, or you can even make it that the gravity is basically turned off when you're doing the properties of that item. You saw our FUNTIME Freddy back there from episode 175 or 193, just for kind of a comparison. And of course, if you're wondering who's that other guy with the puppet or whatever, that was the FUNTIME Kendo, my avatar, just FUNTIME version, and it's got a little Kendo puppet. But yeah, when we recolored Bonbon to be Bonnet, we moved the arms down so that it's not waving. But I think this looks good. I hope that you guys like this. And so again, whatever is most popular or most requested each week is what gets created. I upload every Sunday, sometimes a little more, and I live stream on Twitch every Monday. Links in the description. And so I appreciate your support. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return, to the rest of our lives and the spectacle we give. I've been down the road